Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Nick at BarBend.com. Today, I'm going to be trying out the Less Naked Mass from Naked Nutrition. That is a Florida-based company, and as the name suggests, they like to have really stripped-back products. They're probably best known for Naked Whey, which is just whey, but they've also got the Less Naked line of products, which have a couple of flavorings, things like that. This product, though, doesn't have any artificial ingredients or sweeteners. It doesn't have any bovine growth hormone. There's no soy. It's cold processed. There's no acid involved in the processing or even bleach or anything like that. And it also has well over 1,000 calories per serving. So I'm very excited to try it out. Let's see how it goes with water. Yeah, it's not bad at all. This is an all-natural product, of course, and normally when all-natural products go with the chocolate flavor, they go with a sort of very dark, earthy cocoa kind of flavor as opposed to a milk chocolate flavor. That's what they've done here, but I was honestly expecting it to be more bitter given how natural the product claims to be, but there's actually some coconut sugar added to this. So it winds up pretty pleasant. It mixes better than I expected it to, but that said, it still didn't mix particularly well, so that is worth pointing out. And now I do want to mention that BarBend does sometimes receive products for free, and we do participate in some affiliate programs. If you want to read the full disclaimer, it's actually linked on the full review itself. So just Google BarBend plus Less Naked Mass. With that out of the way, this is 8 pounds. Let's take a look at the nutrition label. One serving is actually 4 scoops in 24 ounces of fluid. I just used 2 scoops in 12 ounces just then. In that serving, you're going to get 1,360 calories. That's very, very high in calories, even for a mass gainer. In that, you're going to get 50 grams of protein, 251 grams of carbohydrates with 12 grams of fiber and 58 grams of sugar. So that's a 1:5 ratio of protein to carbs. And you're going to get just 15 grams of fat with 9 grams of saturated fat. When you're looking at over 1,300 calories, I would consider that definitely quite low in fat. It's also pretty low in cholesterol and sodium as well. There's 26% of the recommended daily intake of cholesterol and just 7% of the daily intake of sodium. And again, we're talking about over 1,300 calories here. So I would consider it pretty low in fat, cholesterol, and sodium. Pretty high in potassium, 24% of the recommended daily intake. And as for other micronutrients, there aren't a ton here, honestly. There aren't many vitamins. There's just 1% of the recommended daily intake of vitamin A, and there are no other vitamins listed here at all. But you do get 43% of daily calcium, 8% of your iron, 27% of your phosphorus, and remarkably 52% of your daily magnesium. So that could be pretty good news based on your own dietary requirements. Okay, so when looking at the ingredients, there's a lot less to talk about than the nutrition because this has a very short ingredients list. All we've got here is, the first ingredient is organic tapioca maltodextrin. So a lot of maltodextrin out there comes from wheat or corn. This is from tapioca, which is naturally gluten-free, which could be a pro for some folks. There's also, after that, some whey protein concentrate and micellar casein. So this is a blend of 2 different types of protein that could potentially help you feel fuller for longer because casein digests a bit more slowly than whey, maybe. After that, there is organic coconut sugar and organic cacao powder. That's it. That's everything we got. So there are no artificial ingredients here, as I mentioned. Also, there's no growth hormone or GBH or RBST. It's cold processed. There's no acid or bleach involved in the processing. It's also non-GMO. So yeah, if you have dietary restrictions, as long as you're okay with dairy, there's a pretty solid chance that this will be able to work around that. So when it comes to the price can change at any time for any reason, but right now it is between $60 and $70 for this big 8-pound tub here. You're only going to get 11 servings in this actually. So the price is roughly $5.50 to $6.50 per serving, and that comes down to about between 40 and 45 cents per 100 calories. And for a mass gainer, that's actually pretty reasonably priced. In my experience, the average mass gainer is like 38 cents per 100 calories, 38 to 40 cents. So this is pretty much right in the money. It's actually especially notable because this whey comes from grass-fed cows and it's made with organic tapioca dextrin. There are no artificial sweeteners and everything like that. Their whey, like the regular whey this company sells, is quite a bit pricier than the other whey that you'll find. But the mass gainer, yeah, it's very reasonably priced. So there are quite a few things that I liked about Less Naked Mass. Given the product you're getting, pretty reasonably priced, and the product itself, it does tick a lot of boxes that other mass gainers don't. So I've mentioned all this before, but the whey is grass-fed. There are no artificial ingredients or anything like that. No soy, no GMOs. It's growth hormone free. It's cold processed, no acid, no bleaching. all of that kind of stuff. Also, the maltodextrin in this is made from organic tapioca. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of competing products make the maltodextrin from corn or sometimes wheat, which some people have issues with. And then there's also the nutrition profile here. I think is pretty remarkable. There are a lot of mass gainers out there that are super high in calories, but they're also super high in things like cholesterol and saturated fat, which some people try to limit. I'm not saying those are inherently bad for you, but just some people do try to limit those. This, for almost 1,400 calories, there's just 26% of the daily intake of cholesterol. There's just 15 grams of fat, 9 grams of saturated fat. It's a little high in sugar. You get 58 grams of sugar, but with the micronutrients as well, pretty low in sodium, just 7% of your daily sodium, and you're getting over 50% of the daily magnesium. So I was pretty happy with the nutrition for a product that doesn't have extra vitamins and minerals added to it. So there are just a few things you might not be quite so crazy about with less naked mass. I think the reason why this was a little bit less expensive than I was expecting is because this has a protein to carbohydrate ratio of 1:5. Most meal replacements out there, they are usually 1:2, maybe 1:3. This is 1:5. That could be fine based on your individual dietary goals, but it is worth pointing out this doesn't have the same sort of macros you might be expecting from a mass gainer, potentially. It's also a little bit high in sugar. There's 58 grams of sugar per serving. It also doesn't have many vitamins. I mean, the minerals I was pretty happy with given the fact this doesn't have any vitamins and minerals added to it, but a lot of mass gainers out there do add vitamins and minerals so that it can be something of a combination meal replacement and mass gainer. This just has 1% of your daily vitamin A and no other vitamins, so just worth pointing out. Finally, it doesn't mix particularly well. I do really need to say that's because I shook it up in a mason jar and you are actually instructed to use this in a blender. If you do that, I'm sure you probably wouldn't have that many issues, but not many people have a blender on the go. All right, those are my thoughts on the chocolate flavored less naked mass from Naked Nutrition. For the full written review, just Google BarBend and less naked mass.